The fossil is not the bones of the animal. The fossil is the stone's memory of the bones of the animal. And that's a poetry older than words. Do not leave your broken heart at the door, my colleague, Reverend Angela Herrera, writes. Don't leave your broken heart at the door. Bring it to the altar of life. Don't leave your anger behind. It has high standards and the world needs vision. Bring them with you. And your joy and your passion. Bring your loving and your courage and your conviction. Bring your need for healing and your power to heal. There is work to do, and you have all that you need to do it right here in this moment. Welcome. Welcome to this place of community, spirit, and service, this place where we need not transform into perfect, shiny, well-behaved beings before we enter into this place, but to a place that can expand to hold it all. I'm Reverend Amanda, joined in the chancel with one of our religious educators, Laura Pierre-Vincenzi. And this morning we'll continue to unwind our way through the monthly theme of welcome by exploring what it means to welcome our spirits through creativity. Whether you're just starting to figure this place out, or if this place is etched deep within your spirit, this is a place for you, and you are welcome here. And as we welcome our spirits, let's turn to welcome one another with a lovely howdy, hi, hello, and good morning. Go ahead and stand back up on your feet as you are willing and able for our opening hymn, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing hymn 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. For those who do not know it, I will give you some hand gestures early on. I do consider it one of our more beautiful hymns written by a colleague, Joyce Poley.
When our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we flee our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell the story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of sacred space, and when the God of our hearts stirs within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place.
Tonight begins the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur, also known as the Day of Atonement. Atonement basically means making right what is wrong or apologizing. As we continue to explore our theme of the gift of welcome in our kindergarten through fifth grade classes, today we're looking at that theme through the lens of welcoming apology and forgiveness into our lives and our relationships. So to start, I'm going to share a Jewish wisdom tale called A Pillow of Feathers. This version of the story and the image here are by Shoshana Baumbacher. In a small town somewhere in Eastern Europe lived a nice man with a nasty problem. He talked too much about other people. He could not help himself. Whenever he heard a story about somebody he knew, and sometimes about somebody he did not know, he just had to tell it to his friends. Since he was in business, he heard quite a lot of rumors and stories. He loved the attention he got and was delighted when they laughed because of the way he told his anecdotes, which he sometimes embellished a little with details he invented to make them funnier and juicier. Other than that, he was really a pleasant, good-hearted man. He kind of knew it was wrong, but it was too tempting, and in any case, most of what he told had really happened, didn't it? Many of his stories were just innocent and entertaining, weren't they? One day, he found out something really odd, but true, about another businessman in town. Of course, he felt compelled to share what he knew with his colleagues, who told it to their friends, who told it to people they knew, who told it to their wives, who spoke with their friends and their neighbors. It went around town till the unhappy businessman, who was the main character in the story, heard it. He ran to the rabbi in town and wailed and complained that he was ruined. Nobody would like to deal with him after this. His good reputation and his good name were gone with the wind. Now, this rabbi knew his customers, so to speak, and he decided to summon the man who loved to tell the stories. If he was not the one who started them, he might at least know who did. When the nice man with the nasty problem heard from the rabbi how devastated his colleague was, he truly felt sorry. He honestly had not considered it such a big deal to tell this story, because it was true. The rabbi could check it out if he wanted. The rabbi sighed. True, not true, that really makes no difference. You just cannot tell stories about people. This is all lashon hara, slander. And it's like murder. You kill a person's reputation. He said a lot more, and the man who started the rumor now felt really bad and sorry. What can I do to make it undone? He sobbed. I will do anything you say. The rabbi looked at him. Do you have any feather pillows in your house? Rabbi, I am not poor. I have a whole bunch of them. But what do you want me to do? Sell them? No, just bring me one. The man was mystified, but he returned a bit later to the rabbi's study with a nice fluffy pillow under his arm. The rabbi opened the window and handed him a knife. Cut it open. But Rabbi, here in your study, it will make a mess. Do as I say. And the man cut the pillow. A cloud of feathers came out. They landed on the chairs, on the bookcase, on the clock, on the cat, which jumped after them. They floated over the table and into the teacups, on the rabbi, and on the man with the knife, and a lot of them flew out the window in a big, swirling, whirling trail. The rabbi waited 10 minutes. Then he ordered the man, "Now bring me back all the feathers and stuff them back in your pillow. All of them, mind you, not one may be missing." The man stared at the rabbi in disbelief. "That is impossible, Rabbi. The ones here in the room I might get, most of them, but the ones that flew out of the window are gone. Rabbi, I can't do that. You know it." "Yes," said the rabbi, and nodded gravely. "That is how it is. Once a rumor, a gossipy story, a secret leaves your mouth, you do not know where it ends up. It flies on the wings of the wind, and you can never get it back." He ordered the man to deeply apologize to the person about whom he had spread the rumor. That is difficult and painful, but it was the least he could do. He ordered him to apologize to the people to whom he had told the story, making them accomplices in the nasty Lashon Hara game. And he ordered him to diligently study the laws concerning Lashon Hara every day for a year and then come back to him. That is what the man did. And not only did he study about Lashon Hara, he talked about the importance of guarding your tongue to all his friends and colleagues. And in the end, he became a nice man who overcame a nasty problem. I now invite children and youth and religious educators to go on to your classrooms. Thank you.
When we arrive here, we do so with a host of joys and sorrows in our hearts, some shared, many unnamed. We continue to hold Hank Beasley in our thoughts after his brief hospitalization. He's been back at home and is receiving top-notch care. Maureen is open to cards of well wishes and cards of get well soon. We also light a candle for the turning of seasons as we enter into this time of equinox. From the winds of change that blow all around us, may we seek clarity and comfort and coziness. May we pay attention to the wisdom of the natural world. At sunset tonight, people of the Jewish faith and the Jewish tradition will be observing Yom Kippur. This time of reflection, repentance, and repair is a reminder to us all of the importance of self-examination and, of course, of forgiveness. And we light another candle, which we could honestly multiply by 100, for the ongoing and seemingly endless effects and impacts of global climate chaos all around us. For those who've been displaced, for those living in fear, for those who have no hope, and for those who are hopeful still, we lift our hearts. May we face the challenges of the catastrophe of climate change, and may we face it with innovation and creativity and ferocity. This morning's time of contemplation and prayer is also a musical prayer for us. I want to invite you into contemplation of the following words from the Chilean artist and activist Cecilia Vicuña, allowing the music that flows from the instrument to infuse these words into your heart and spirit. So I invite you to take a good deep seat, to tap into the senses all around you, and to trust just enough in the space to perhaps close your eyes or lower your gaze for these words. She says, "In the West, you find the idea that only humans have language. I never believed that. We know bacteria sing to each other, that even subatomic particles are self-aware and communicate and tangle one another. So for me, the universe is itself language. Everything is speaking to everything else in particular chemical and sonic and territorial languages. There are sorts we can't even imagine, yet together they form part of what we as humans can sense and perceive. We can talk about things as if we know what we're talking about. That's the most fascinating thing in the world, because in truth, we don't know much at all. What we don't know composes so much of the real around us. That possibility of sensing what we cannot name makes language what it is, a reaching for what cannot be said."
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the land, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Partnership is one of our core values, and the work we do in the community is only enhanced by our ministry of giving. Each month, we welcome one of our community partners to share some words about the work that they do in the service of the beloved community all around us. And this month, we welcome our friends and partners at College Bound. Here with us this morning is our friend Kenneth Ward to share some more about this beautiful and important organization. Welcome this morning, Kenneth.
Good morning. I used to teach school. Let's try that again. Good morning. Thank you. It's an honor to be here. For several years, as you know, we were in the pandemic, so we didn't have a chance to come out. So it's good to be in person and to see you this morning. And I bring you greetings from the College Bound family. We are excited about our programming. We went back face-to-face last September. And this year, our goal in the academic mentoring program, which is our high school program, we aim to serve 200 students. So that means we need 200 mentors. And we maintain a 100% high school graduation rate with a 100% college acceptance rate. You can clap for that. Yes. And the beautiful thing about the program is that one of those students, who is actually, I'm pretty sure she was a River Road scholar, Daniela, is actually now back on staff. She graduated from Trinity University last year. I hired her, so she's back working with us. So we're really excited about that. Daniela's first generation college, she's first generation American, and she's very quiet, but she works with a purpose and an intentionality that I think really adds a lot of value to the program. In the virtual mentoring program, we started that about 10 years ago. We received a $100,000 grant from Many Hands, which is a giving circle. They gave us $100,000. We started this virtual mentoring program because a lot of students like me are first generation college, and we need additional supports when we get to college. I went to Chapel Hill, I had a full scholarship, but I struggled and needed some additional support. So through our virtual mentoring program, we're giving those students some additional supports. And I'm extremely excited to have with me our new virtual mentoring program coordinator this morning, Zion Kelly, who's actually an alum of the program as well, and he just started with us about 3 weeks ago. So welcome, Zion, to the program. He was an alum of the program, just graduated from Florida A&M University in Tallahassee, and so we're really glad to have him back working with us. In the virtual mentoring program, we will serve over 150 alumni in college. We have a 6-year graduation rate of over 70%, which is phenomenal for the students that we serve. And one of the things that Zion does is a mentor bank. So if you're interested in volunteering but can't commit to the weekly program, the mentor bank will list where you went to college, what you studied, and what you did professionally. And so when one of our alumni is thinking about being an electrical engineer, he can look in there and find someone, or she can look and find someone who's an electrical engineer, or someone who went to a college, or someone who's working in an industry that they would like. They'll send you an email, and they'll just touch bases. Really low impact, but really meaningful for our students who need exemplars and models as they go through college. The cornerstone of our program and what you have been supporting for a number of years is our scholarship program. Last May, at our end of the year celebration, we awarded over $250,000 in scholarships, which is a big freaking deal for an organization our size. About 25% of all of our funds goes towards scholarships. So we're really excited about that. Last year, you supported 3 scholarships. The year before, you supported 3 scholarships. These students are selected based upon some variables that you've set up. One of those is income-based, and I think they're phenomenal young ladies. One of them is at Catholic University. Joanna, she may join us this morning. She may not. 2 of those students just graduated. One graduated from GW. Another just graduated from Temple. They're out now in the world doing some amazing work as well. What we need is mentors. It's a one-to-one match. Every student gets a mentor at one of our 7 locations, and we always need financial support beyond the scholarship support that you do. We are a 501c3 organization, so every dollar that you give us is tax deductible. And again, I thank you for listening to me. I thank you for your support. I was talking to Rita this morning, and this is faith in action. This is community. This is what we talk about. Rita was talking about how sometimes the world can just seem overwhelming. Like there's just so much going on, whether it's the climate crisis or a hurricane or an invasion or homelessness, or there's just so much going on. But locally, one-to-one, we can do so much that makes a difference. And I'm reminded of the story of the girl at the beach throwing starfish back into the water. And the guy says, well, what are you doing? She's like, well, I'm saving starfish. He says, well, you can't save them all. She says, nope, but I just saved this one, and I saved this one, and I saved this one. And so I think the work that we do is we cannot save every life, but we can definitely try. So again, thank you for allowing me to speak with you this morning. Reverend Amanda, thank you for your continued support and continue to walk in the light. Thank you so much, Rita.
Thank you, Kenneth and Zion, for making the journey out to join us this morning and all of the work that is done in this organization. If you'd like to learn more about the various programs and whatnot, you can speak with Kenneth or Zion after the service. You can also reach out to Rita Parks, who has been a faithful liaison with College Bound for many years. And also don't forget that the College Access fundraiser will be next week. We'll talk more about that later. You can give to College Bound today. You can text to give. The text number is 73256. You can also give through our social justice giving page, where you can learn more about College Bound, and you can give right there on the website, or you can give right now here in person. We extend our offering this morning as a symbol of our continued promise and our continued faith in one another, faith in our community, and faith in our wider world. Please give as you are so moved. Okay, confession time. I tried to use AI to write this sermon today. Now, I'd like to say that it was to demonstrate some grand point or to prove what I currently already know to be true, that there's something about organic thought and authenticity, etc. But that wouldn't be quite true. I turned to AI because I was stuck, which I often am, and trying to say what it is I really mean. Now, I've never used AI for anything, really, let alone a sermon. So it took me a bit of research to understand the ways that the tool could be used. I was hoping to come up with some better big idea, some better thesis to ground what was growing within me, what I wanted to say this morning. I wanted to feed my thoughts into a machine and let it sort through the muck and the grime of an overcrowded mind to generate something that would capture what I intended to say without the headache of figuring it out yet again. So I started my 7-day free trial with one of the many sermon AI generator things, more than I thought that there were on the market. And I fed all of my notes into this box and I waited for the magic. The first thing that came up was, "Good morning, brothers and sisters in Christ." Immediately, no. So I tried again. I fiddled with it some more. I went to the settings. I tried to explain that I'm a Unitarian Universalist humanist, and it kind of worked. And eventually I got, "Good morning, beloved congregation," which is admittedly a little better. So the sermon, however, that it wrote was completely underwhelming. It was about 5 minutes long, and it didn't really say much at all. And I did realize at the time that I didn't have to use the exact language it gave me. It could just be a starting point, a jumping off point. It could at least maybe organize all of my thoughts. But time and time again, it was a miss. It was lacking something crucial, something vital, something completely obvious. It was lacking creativity. The problem wasn't AI. The issue was that there was so much that I wanted to express, too many different ideas, too many paths I wanted to go down. And I also realized that I didn't have a central point. That's the agonizing thing, right? When you get up in front of people, you're supposed to have a point, and you're supposed to say interesting things to support that point. And I'm a Unitarian Universalist minister, so I could literally be talking about anything, and everything is on the table, and it is so hard to find one thing to say that's interesting enough to capture your attention. And by the way, what do I have to tell you that you don't already know? And is that really the point of things? To hear me say something fantastic, am I supposed to take all of the thoughts and the ideas and the hopes and the fears and put it into my machine and generate a perfectly curated sermon that speaks intelligently to it all? Oh my God, am I the AI? I sure hope not. We're in trouble if I am. See, because if it were just you and me, and I wasn't up here and you weren't down there, I imagined we'd have a lot to say to each other. I imagine there wouldn't need to be a point, a thesis, 3 paragraphs, and a conclusion. I imagine that our conversation would be full of interruptions and epiphanies and remember wins, that we'd laugh and nod and joke and remember my favorite book and this is my favorite movie. I think I'd tell you about how sometimes it feels like creativity is behind a gigantic paywall, that I have to do something to earn it, to be worthy of it. I think we'd have a lot to talk about because I'd want to know what you think too. But AI can't do that because AI is not me. And it doesn't know what's in my heart, and it doesn't know what my spirit is longing to express. Now, spoiler alert, this did not become a sermon slamming artificial intelligence. For me, the verdict is still out. As a humanist and a modern woman who appreciates the fruits of modern labor, I'm interested in how we create and use AI generative ideas, how we have been and will continue to evolve our understanding of intelligent technology. I think it could be a powerful tool. And if we use it with integrity, it has the potential to be a part of some solutions to some very big problems. But that's for another day. That's not what this is about. What I learned from my AI adventure is that there is a bridge that connects my innermost spirit to the world around me, and that bridge is creativity. AI helped me, but not in the way that I thought it would. It showed me the gaps. So what is the point? What is the point of creativity? When I listen to the beautiful music created by Lori's mastering of her cello, or I enjoy another Sunday basking in Shuai's musicianship, I instinctively know that that's the entire point, to enjoy the beauty. My guy Rumi, who I'm quoting up here all the time, he shares that the soul is here for its own joy. What's the point becomes a pointless question because the soul is here for its own joy. When I was on sabbatical, I came upon this random book titled How to Write One Song. It's by this musician, songwriter, and producer, Jeff Tweedy, and I knew immediately that I had to have it. The title spoke so succinctly to my biggest creative struggle in this moment, self-expression. Now, y'all may not know this, but I have enough musical instruments in my house to create a one-woman band. And I'm not exaggerating. I find this to be the fun part of being an adult. You get to live out your childhood dreams without supervision and with adult money. And I actually do attempt to learn most of these instruments, at least in order to have fun and dabble in them, if nothing else. But for many years, my favorite instrument has been the piano. Now, I'm no Shuai, and I always feel like I have to say that because Shuai is a rock star. But she really is. I'm not classically trained, I'm no concert pianist. But I like to learn the simple chords of songs that I grew up loving. And that's been my pursuit for many years, emulating the great artists of my past, playing and singing for myself and maybe some friends. Some of you may have heard me playing around here like a ghost in the chapel or something. But somewhere along the way, I realized that I wanted to express myself. I realized that I wanted to create something of my own, not just a tune, but lyrics as well. I wanted to write a song, but every time I reach for inspiration, it's not there. It seems elusive, and everything coming out of my mind is peppered with judgment and eye rolls and cringe. It seems easier to learn something that's already been done by people much more skilled and talented than me. Early on in the book, How to Write One Song, the author, Jeff Tweedy, writes, "Many songwriters have aspired to be Bob Dylan, including me," he says. "And is that an over-ambitious desire? Well, yes and no. Did I truly want to be Bob Dylan? No. I wanted to do what Bob Dylan does. And on the most basic level, there was nothing stopping me from doing what Bob Dylan does. That doesn't mean I can play the guitar or sing the same way or write songs the same way or as well. It just means that I make a sound. I write a song and I sing it. At the very least, I hear myself. He says, if you're coming to me for inspiration because you want to sound like me or be like me, well, I'm flattered. But you'll be surprised how good it feels to hear yourself sing your own song. Now, I don't believe that any of us has to create our own song or our own painting or dance in order to be authentically who we are and express ourselves. That's the beauty for beauty's sake of it all. But at its core, creativity is about connection. Whether it's connection of our innermost selves to the outside world or connection to each other, it's about connection. For me, there's something about graffiti. There's something about graffiti, murals, street art that really speaks to my spirit. Whenever I go to a new place, I look for the graffiti because it tells a story about the city or the neighborhood or the block that I'm on. It tells a story about the culture. It says something deeper than any words could. And these days, when everything is gentrified and more folks are displaced and pushed out of where they grew up, it's often the street art that tells the truth of a place. Street writer Carla Cougar says, thoughtful street art is like good fiction. It speaks out on behalf of everyone for us all to see. So when I'm on the metro whizzing past tags and murals and scribbles and scratches, it's as if I'm reading an unedited story about a place, glimpsing into its spirit and truly connecting to its truth in a way that I couldn't be told. And I'm also really impressed by it. Not only because how in the world does someone get up to the upper third of a building to do unpermitted art with spray paint, but also because it's so vulnerable. Putting something into the world, putting yourself into the world is an act of vulnerability. If creativity is a bridge, it's a shaky bridge at best, and it's often falling apart, and you don't often know where you'll land or how it will be received, but it is about connecting you to get there. Jeff Tweedy writes, one song is all it takes to make a connection. And in my opinion, he says, connection is the loftiest of all aspirations. To my way of thinking, there isn't much else of any value going on in any song or work of art. At the core of any creative act is an impulse to make manifest our powerful desire to connect with others, with ourselves, with the sacred, with God. We humans reach out for warmth with our art. But what about inspiration? Let's talk about it because this is where a lot of us tend to get stuck. I'm in absolute awe of people who can just sit down and paint or make up a little stanza and turn it into a poem or know what to draw when they say they're going to draw. People who can just create on the spot. People who are easily inspired. Sometimes it seems as if inspiration is this gift bestowed upon the talented from the divine. But is that really what inspiration is all about? I mean, often in my own experience, I want to create something, but when I set out to do it, I have no idea what to do. I'll get out a canvas and not know what to paint. I'll grab my journal and not know what to write. I surround myself with all of these tools of creation and I just wait for inspiration to grab me. And often I am disappointed when it doesn't. So in thinking about the task of writing just one song, I reached out to a guy who writes a lot of songs, our very own Dr. Cliff Hardin, who is currently away being father of the bride. I don't know if it should be clapped for Cliff, who's not here. I don't know. So Cliff arranges and composes a good chunk of the music that our choir does, if you didn't know. And a lot of other choirs do his music as well. He's kind of like a UU superstar. So I asked him how. How does he come up with it? Where does he get his inspiration after all of these years? And we had this really great conversation, and of course, in my fashion, I didn't write a single thing down that he said. We both got so caught up in the conversation about what it means to be inspired. And between his musician brain and my humanist mind, we landed on this really beautiful metaphor of a stream of creativity that flows throughout time, throughout history. A stream of the good, the bad, and the ugly. And this stream flows to all of us. And flow, like that's the key word, right? Finding your flow. I hear that all the time. So let's find our flow this morning. If you will join me, I want to invite you to find your stream. Getting rooted in your spot, trusting this space enough to lower your eyes, to close, taking a moment to breathe deeply and arrive in a space of your own creation. This space could be inside. It could be outdoors. It can be somewhere you've been, somewhere you want to be one day. Anywhere where you feel completely yourself. Taking in the sights around you. Coming into contact with all of the senses. And as you sit in your space, out of the corner of your eye, you see it. You see a stream rushing with endless waters. And once you see it out of the corner of your eye, you hear it. And then you smell it. Going over to the stream, you examine it. What's in those waters? Shapes, symbols, phrases, colors, maybe something you've seen often that you love, or something you've never seen before. You look around and you see others. You see other people at the stream doing the same thing as you. They're studying the stream. They're studying that river. Maybe they're tasting the water, dipping their hands in, pouring their own water in, or even taking some out. And you decide to do the same. And you realize, as soon as you think it, that there's a perfect scooping object right beside you. Maybe it's your own hands, even. You wait to find the water that's just right for you in that stream, the part of the stream that speaks to you the most, that captures your attention. And just at the right time, you take your cup or your goblet or your chalice, whatever came to you, and you scoop some right on up. You don't know what you might do with this water, but you know that this water holds an endless potential. And as you take your scooping object with your water, you make your way back to where you started in that special space, maybe seated or standing, however you arrived there. And you realize that the river keeps on flowing, that it's always there, that it's there for everyone who needs it, and there's more than enough water. And you have your water, and you can use that water any way that you want. I invite you back into this space, here with us now, our space. Maybe opening your eyes and returning here, knowing that the soul is here for its own joy. In a world that promotes scarcity and competition, inspiration seems to fall in line with all of that. One is only inspired if they deserve it, if they've earned it, if they're lucky enough to get it, if they're talented enough, if they're good enough, if they're worthy enough. But in a world where each one of us is inherently worthy, we step back and we realize that we create inspiration for one another, that those waters that flow, those are waters that will never run dry. We realize that we've been creating, regardless of how on fire the world was or has ever been, that in the depths of despair we have found inspiration. That in all of the history of the earth and all the living beings on it, we have survived time and time again through the act of creation. That there have never been limits on it. And there has always been enough for each one of us to tap into that stream. We have always been enough. We have always been worthy because we are here for joy. No matter what and how our joy is expressed, whether that is through pain, sorrow, art, dance, writing, experiencing, living, no matter how our joy is expressed, we are here for it, and we will continue to create more of it because that is how we roll. That is what we do. We are the point. Our joy is the point. I would have nothing to write this morning if someone else hadn't gotten inspired and shared their creativity with the world. If I hadn't found that book in a random bookstore, I would have been robbed of the gift of struggling with the spiritual exercise that is writing a sermon and sharing my inspiration. If someone hadn't shared those, I tried to purchase it. I started a 7-day free trial, which, by the way, I will be canceling, to see what artificial intelligence could do for me. But that super advanced and super impressive technology, it didn't hold a candle to a conversation with my beloved colleague, or seeing graffiti on a train ride, or buying local art from a street festival. It didn't hold a candle, and what I can go out and buy, it doesn't even come close to what the leaves can tell us, or how the wind blows just right to show us that a new season has arrived. So when a creative person tells me that their inspiration is all around them, I don't roll my eyes anymore because I've done the spiritual work to know that in my heart of hearts, that is truth. So did I ever write one song, friends? No, not yet. But here's my pledge to you on this rainy day of fall, September 24th. By the end of this congregational year, I will have written my one song, and Cliff has agreed to help me do it. And we may all cringe, or we may all cry, I don't know, but like the book says, I'll be surprised how good it feels to hear myself sing my own song. Ashe, 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 may it be so, and so will it be. Amen. AI could never, okay? So remember last week when Reverend Nancy gave a laundry list of ways to get involved? Well, here's your refresher on that next Saturday. Big day at River Road, Saturday, September 30th. In the morning, we're hosting Unstoppable Stories of Banned Books Festival. This is in partnership with the Potomac Partnership, so that means our sister congregations of UU Fairfax and Cedar Lane. And in fact, the very next day on October 1st, Fairfax will be hosting the same festival. There's going to be workshops and author readings. Reverend Nancy, she's going to be doing the welcome. I'll be on one of the panels, and of course, Jamie Raskin will be here. I don't know if anyone has heard of him, but he's going to be our keynote speaker. We're in need of volunteers. It takes a lot to put on something like this. So if you're able to volunteer, Laura Pierre-Vincenzi is the person to talk to. You can also use the Sign Up Genius link in the e-weekly, and also they're on the flyers all throughout the building. So that's the morning. September 30th in the evening is our College Access fundraiser. This is an annual event that we absolutely adore here at River Road. It's going to be hybrid this year, so we're going to have it in the building. It's also going to be live streamed on YouTube. We've got Daryl Davis and Seth Keibel coming back by popular demand. And also we're going to have a vocalist, Angela Hill. She's amazing. And you can get more info at the fellowship table or in the fellowship hall later on today. You can also, again, check the e-weekly for all of these things. Also, this is on our website carousel. You can say yes to the future of River Road by volunteering with our religious education programs. Did y'all see that after the children's story, like 1,000 people got up and went into the classrooms? Our religious education programs are growing at a high rate, and this is a great issue to have, but it takes people. We need volunteers. We need to support our religious education leaders and also the young people of our congregation. They're looking for about 10 more, at least 10 more volunteers. Again, you can contact Beth or Laura to get more information or sign up. And you don't have to have kids in the RE program to participate. Your kids can be my age or older. Even one Sunday a month would help them tremendously. Speaking of religious education, it is not just for kids. In cooperation with the UU congregation in Fairfax, we are offering an adult Our Whole Lives class. This is a really big deal, and this is awesome. If you don't know about OWL, learn about OWL. It's a great program. So many people have gone through it, and it is lifespan, so it's not just for young people. These will all be virtual meetings, and they're going to be on Tuesday nights, 2 per month, beginning October 17th and going all the way through the congregational year to May 21st. This is for adults of all ages. Again, you can check the e-weekly for the registration link or get more information. And this evening, we're hosting a game night. So weather permitting, we're gonna have this either way. It might be inside, it might be outside. If it's outside, we're gonna have a fire pit. If it's inside, we will make the s'mores over the stove. We don't care. And also, it's a potluck dinner, so bring something. This is a time to celebrate and be in community, celebrate the autumn equinox. All ages are welcome. And before we wrap it up, I wanna invite Jenny Sauer and Barb Geiser to share just a bit about our upcoming bazaar.
Hello, everyone. My name's Jenny Sauer, and this is Barb Geiser. And along with Liz Handley, we're the co-chairs of this year's bazaar, which is coming up fast on November 4th. We'd like to welcome everyone to play a role in this great, big, wonderful event. As many of you know, each Sunday we have an information table in the fellowship hall for you to learn more about what you can do. If you've already stopped by, thank you. There are opportunities for everyone, old and young, strong and not so strong. You can sit, stand, or get a real workout, all the while connecting with other River Roaders. The week before Bazaar Day, from October 28th through Friday, November 3rd, is a busy time. We will be collecting and sorting donations, pricing goods for sale, and transforming the building into multiple sales area. Just about every nook and cranny is used. Helpers will be at the building every day until 8 p.m. at night. And then comes Bazaar Day, November 4th, when it's all hands on deck. Yes, it's a lot of work.
But it is also a lot of fun because families can sign up to work together to help sort, unpack donations, baking ahead of time. Old friends can coordinate their schedules in order to have their schedules overlap. New folks can jump right in at any point and soon become an old friend. So it's working side by side, doing all the things Jenny's talking about that really makes the kind of connections that are really good for our soul. Frankly, I can use a little more of that. I don't know about you. And here's a pro tip for you newcomers. By volunteering, you can get access to the pre-sale that we hold the night before the bazaar, Friday night. And at that point, you can get the best dibs and first dibs on all the best donations that we've collected for sale at the bazaar. And next Sunday, in case you don't have enough to do in the coming weeks or so, we're going to have a volunteer fun fair. We're going to have extra fun food. We're going to have games for kids. And you guys can pick up and learn what you might want to do best, what matches your skills and interests. Like Jenny said, slow, fast, whatever your speed is. So we hope you'll join us in this big event, but don't just listen to us. You can listen to longtime Stellar Bazaar volunteer Linda Button, because in her words, working at the bazaar is good, hard fun.
What I like best about the bazaar, it's good, hard fun. And it's a fantastic way to get to know people a bit better. We need to work together, side by side. There are a lot of conversations as we sort and discern and what have you. I also like the bazaar because of things we can get. It happens that these are from the bazaar. And of course, all the things that we can give. I think that's the most excellent part of the whole enterprise, giving to the community and making what we do in this community known to others, as well as allowing people who are already here to interact in significant ways.
Gratitude for a full social calendar. We do a lot, and it takes a lot to do a lot. Gratitude for community building and potlucks and s'mores, and gratitudes for the ways that we show up regardless. Gratitude to Lori Barnett, our cellist this morning. Gratitude for our tech folks for making the magic happen every morning. Gratitude for the ways that we weave and build and grow and learn. As the saying goes, no work of art is ever finished. It can only be abandoned in an interesting place. We are indeed works of art, and we are not finished. May we never be finished. So we go forth into the day ahead, the week ahead, the season ahead. May we keep this flame kindled in our spirits. May we hold to that sacred water we gathered earlier, and may we welcome our spirits with strength, hope, and love. Go now in peace and create, create, create.